also like definitely the impression that I'm still checking on to definitely that basically like the old man with like dementia in like the box with game of like the marble with game with like Sangyeon would definitely his like dementia in that game would be definitely a fake dementia act. Definitely my question was all the old man would be only faking his like memory and all right now to like to ensure that like Sangyeon who definitely be his son like survives the sports game is definitely my question. But so like right now with like Sangyeon even down to his like last month yet like right now for like the old all of us are like for like the old man only betting on two marbles like was differing like the old man quickly switching from 4 and 5 marble betting to like down to quickly to like just 2 marble betting while Sangyeon is like probably down to his like last marble. It was especially also like I was going part of like old man's like fake act like I was like he might have totally decided to help to it might have been like the old man might have totally seriously attempted, seriously put in like the effort to like help Sangyeon be able to like return back into like the game from like his last marble by like the first reason for like right now it like the old man getting on only 2 marbles to be precisely because of like what the old man might have done might have been like when he took out like the two in that turn when like the old man had said when he took out like the 2 marbles from the like sack that he might have slowly picked up like the 2 marbles while continuing his like fake being fake memory of act like he might have slowly picked up like the 2 marbles so that like Sanjon could totally see what like the old man was doing and how many marbles he was getting or definitely what might have happened if the family members but like in like Sangyon's case like I'm like Sangyon even while in like the verge of death, like I'm still Sanjon might have totally wanted like still somehow wanted might have wanted like the game to be fair and basically the deserving one, even though Sanjon so badly wants to live like still like I'm like definitely seems like Sanjon have been playing Squid games and all these kind of games from like back from when she was like a child and things. Uh, because of that, like there would be that absolute passion between like Sangyeon to play these games and like even right now we like the person while Sangyeon is now like the verge of death and Sangyeon simply can't afford to like die at all. And even while like the last thing Sangyeon would want right now would be for him to like end up being dead like without being able to like see his thoughts once again. Definitely my premonition. So like yeah, like even then like I'm considering Sangyeon might have really wanted like the game to be fair. So like I'm considering like the scenario might have been like the old man picking up like the 2 marbles and placing it onto his like palm slowly so that like Sangyeon would have seen that in that term. But like I'm considering like Sangyeon is solely due to his like passion so like desire to like have this game be fair and Sangyeon might have wanted to like win this in like a fair manner. So like Sangyeon might have totally not looked towards like the old man while like the old man might have been slowly putting like the 2 marbles onto his palm. Might have been what might have happened. And this might be the precise reason for like Sangyeon right now. Even right now with his like final marble as well like Sangyeon uh like getting his call wrong. That like this call of thoughts are wrong. So definitely what might have happened right now is definitely also in the but like right now with like Sangyeon having lost the game like as a spring like the scenario that I'm representing right now, which would be like resulting in like Sangyeon surviving like the marbles game like I'm representing precisely the scenario that I'm representing right now is that like totally like once again like totally favoring Sangyeon and I'm representing like precisely at this moment, at this very moment when Sangyeon has lost to like the old man and basically his thought of what ending up being wrong while Sangyeon has lost the speech. Sangyeon even having like the last single marble like I'm representing right now that the Squid Game World Cup would be like at that very moment like the Squid Game World Cup might have been for that just that brief moment like the Squid Game World Cup and the different might be like distracted and might not be aware of like Sangyeon already having lost for like I'm the different right now Sangyeon for mindset of like basically wanting to like survive in like the fourth Marvel the Squid Game in like a fair manner like all that like passion and that whole mindset to like play the game fair like all that as right now as Sanjay is like about to die, like I'm about to bring like at that very last moment, like I'm about to bring that like Sanjay deciding to like not do things fairly, and I'm going to bring like Sanjay right now, but like there being 2 marbles specifically in like the old man's farm, like I'm putting like scenario to be like John like simply taking a single marble from like the old man's farm and basically and hiding it in like quickly hiding that in like Sangyeon in like that tiny sack and basically Sangyeon like in a louder manner like basically Sangyeon saying on once again it's like the scenario that I'm different. So at that point like I'm point like the Squid worker like basically turning to like Sangyeon said at that point itself as clearing Sanjay's fall, and I'm bring like when he looked like it would be like the old man with a single marble in his palm and like Sanjay saying odd and like Sanjay getting two marbles that happened. While it wouldn't be two marbles in actuality, Sanjay by cheating in that game like looked like the old man would be at that point having three marbles. It's like the scenario that I'm describing. And from that point on, I'm describing like to consistently favor Sanjay and basically Sanjay being and I'm describing like the old man as well, like doing this path thoroughly to like ensure that like Sanjay wins. And I'm describing like it won't be that like I'm describing like Sanjay was having been so close to like that like I'm describing like from that point on, I'm describing like possibly like Sanjay deciding to like cheat his way into like defeating like the old man. Is like the scenario that I'm looking. So because of like the Sanjay will be like so extremely scared that like I'm looking like that fear totally uh, forcing him to like play in such a manner like the scenario that I'm expecting to happen. So like from that point on, I'm going like the old man plays the game the very exact same manner with like him like from that point on like picking up like the marbles for like the betting every time like the old man would be like making like the betting like the old man would be slowly picking up like the marbles and like slowly putting it into this like farm one by one while maintaining that fake act of like memory loss so that like Sanjay could like clearly see like how many marbles like the old man is like putting into his farm and that way like Sanjay like through in such a manner like so due to like Sanjay being able to like see like the how many marbles like the old man will be betting each time like I'm like Sanjay being able to like win in like the marble game with like the old man with like limit share. It's like the scenario that I'm looking again at that point like the old man with like ninja that way dying and basically Sanjay winning like the fourth game but like I'm looking like by the time Sanjay would be winning like the fourth Squid Game. Like I'm considering like exactly like a similar situation where that I'm also talking to like Sangu's case where like definitely since like right now like on top of like the sentimental manipulation that like Sangu is like doing to Ali like on top of that like Sangu even trying to like trick Ali into like thinking that basically if one of them has 20 or 20 marbles like that, they could like totally they have a chance of both of them would be having like a chance to like in that way like tricking and turning Ali like basically trying to make Ali into like a fool like basically that strategy as well of like Kang will be eventually definitely succeeding of like the scenario that I'm doing. So when like precisely when like the precise moment like Kang would be Ali will be giving I guess definitely putting like Tangu's strategy that he would be telling Ali actually what exactly to do right now would be definitely to like while it will be Ali's turn to like basically do the betting like I'm the one like Tangu telling Ali to like play all the marbles in like because like my Korean version is right now Sangu down to like last marble and the children like Sangu right now telling Ali like trusting Ali and telling Ali to like take all of like the marbles like all of the 19 marbles and place it into like Ali's palm and that way Ali placing all that 19 marbles holding it with both of his like palms without even being like close to palms and Sangu straight away calling that that is like an order and straight away, like Sandro will be getting all the 20 marbles from Ali. And at that point itself, like the Squid Game worker, like straight away walking up to Ali and like basically would be aiming at Ali. And at that point itself, like Ali would be like, and Ali and Super like at that point is would be when like Super like Ali would be like realizing that basically Sangwoo was like already at that point I'm definitely putting him just by seeing like Sangwoo's face itself, like facial expression and body language itself like Ali would be able to like realize without even Sangu saying anything. Like Sangu at that point won't be able to like look at Ali in like, just like face of height because of that extreme guilt that would be presented in like Sangu at that point. Because of knowing that this would be exactly what be happening. So like Sangu and Basubrang at that point will be like looking downward while Ali so Sangu's like body language will be realizing that like Sangu had correct Ali. So like I'm bring like still Ali I'm bring two possibilities like either like after like realizing that like Ali basically sharply staring at Sangu while Sangu would be like looking downwards. Sangu won't be able to like look Ali in the face and at that point like basically it's the game of taking Ali's life or both like even after realizing that Sangu had correct Ali like right before like the game after all we taking Ali's life like Ali is always shouting out to like Sangu that basically just win the game and help my family. Like basically, uh, along such like and like I as like Ali would be finishing that dialogue itself, like Ali would be ending up that just like the one of the most possible scenario that I'm looking. So like, why this would be happening like in parallel? I'm also bring like Sangion as well, like because like I'm also bring like Sangion as well would be like defeating like the old man was like in like the marble game through achieving is like what I'm also talking. I'm just bringing at that point like once like Sangu will be turning and like this game of Karo will be walking towards like the old man and aiming like at that point I'm also bringing Sangu as well. Won't not being able to like look like the old man in his face and like the Sangu totally looking downwards and at that point I was bringing like the old man saying some sort of like a final dialogue. Maybe I was running to be just a single word, like the old man right before he dies, like telling Sangu, like but just like while Sangu would be looking down was just the word Jambu, with like that bright smile in his face. I got definitely remember three impressions are like right now currently like Sangyam Squid Game journey, like I'm definitely not referring like success as well as like the Squid Game definitely having sitting into my three impressions and like the as well as the Squid Game would be definitely would be set up in such a manner that basically it would have like a connection to definitely once again it would be having connection to like Sangu as well as Sangyam's like childhood memories, especially when we were able to go like like in the game like I'm like the first kitchen to like actually arrive within like Sangu as well as possibly within just Sangu or like within just Sangyon or like within both Sangu and Sangyon. Just like as for like the possible uh some sort of like a suspicion like then feeling it like kind of like weird that basically there's so much connection to like their childhood memory. Maybe that's happening during like the first game and then maybe it could be like in like the fifth food game that like once like the fifth food game will be revealed and it's having like even more of like a greater connection to like the memories of like childhood memories of like Sangu and Sanju. Maybe at that point like once like the sixth food game will be revealed and basically maybe at that point like Sangu and Sanju possibly realizing that basically as to like the possible identity of like the person who is that running like this game. It's also like a possibility, one anomalically many possibilities that I'm looking and maybe like I'm also like it would be one like the Squid Game would be revealed that I'm literally maybe like Sanjo will be also realizing that basically like the old man with dementia was in fact like Sanjo part of which is definitely the favorite for like with another. And at that point, I'm definitely like Sangyeon to like totally acting like an empathetic manner and like Sangyeon totally comforting Sangwoo and like about like Sangyeon telling Sangwoo that basically that like Sangwoo still have a chance to like correct his wrong by like that by winning like versus to game and basically Sanjeev will be totally thinking that basically like the sixth food game, like everyone who completes like the sixth food game would be considered as like the winners and if they all getting like the prize money would be along the line. Sanjeev would be thinking when he would say that. So like I'm bring up that point Sanjeev telling Sangu that basically we can win like the sixth food game and then Sangu you will be able to like correct your wrongs by like giving like half or like a good portion of like the reward money to Ali's family. And that way like he will be son will be able to like make up for the for like that betrayal he did to like Ali basically. Will be along the line Sangi on opposite at that point feeling Sangi. But like might also remember things like that like as for like the sixth good game, like especially since like when like the John Poe had basically checked through like the list of like the winners, the game winners of each year, like just each and every year there was like I think that there was only a single winner and like putting like the physical game would be like set up in such a manner that basically, regardless of how many players would be, like how many Squid Game candidates will be playing like the Squid Game, like only the person who finishes like the Squid Game first would be straight away declared as like the winner. And as for like the remaining Squid Game candidates, even if they by then like finish that Squid Game, still like they would already possibly having definitely they are like taken by the Squid Game or the game of the so so the game would be set up in such a way that like only a single person will be able to like win like the uh, win like the even if like no matter how many cricket candidates attempt like the assist to gain like and complete like the assist to gain like the only person who completes like the assist to gain first would be like only considered as like the winner and that would be like the only person who will be able to like survive and leave like the studio building alive at that point. Like my personal impression. So definitely so in such a manner definitely I'm considering like it would be in like the sixth good game that I'm considering only for things like Sangu with it only dying and I'm considering like Sangu not even not being able to like even complete like the sixth good game. It's also definitely my opinion. That's like one possibility that I'm considering, or like the other possibility that I'm considering is like that like Sangu will be like the person to like first complete like the sixth game. Sangyeon will be like the person to like first completing the sixth game, and then like Sangu will be completing like the and after it will be after Sangyeon that like Sangu will be completing like the sixth game. So like and at that point, when of remembrances that like Saviak still won't be dying. Like in the case of Saviak, like I'm considering like I'm doing it would be like after like either after like the fifth game or like I'm considering like between after like the fourth game and before like the sixth game and the Saviak definitely would be like escaping like the school game and integrating into like some into like the school game building through the air ventilation path, which like genuine scenario that I'm looking and eventually as like Sadiak would be like escaping and moving through that path, like I'm looking like Sadiak eventually running into that precise woman who initially has like a crush on care. So which that she as well would have only even though she was captured and she was like taken away for not being able to like make a pair like I'm looking like she as well would have succeeded in like escaping and she as well would have only escaped into like that air ventilation network in like the ceiling area. So like my intention. So like that is area and after the eventually the meeting there in like that in air ventilation area like the scenario that I'm explaining. And as for like say like and like the scenario that I'm also is like maybe for like it being like Stadiac like basically maybe during like the studio members during like maybe towards like the end of like the studio members during like there will be only like Stadiac would be among like the few remaining candidates as like time would be about to be over like Stadiac and maybe being among the few remaining candidates that will be left to complete like the civilian. It's also like about the scenario that I'm assuming that like I'm assuming that the majority of the Indian workers might have left by then uh, from that civilian room, and I'm assuming like only few civilian workers might be there at that point as like Zodiac, as time would be almost over and Zodiac would be so like at that point, I was going like maybe say that like making a mistake and right before like the game doctor would be like showing up and would be able to take say that like it can go to like right and like say that like attacking that game doctor and then go like say that successfully succeeding like taking that game doctor off stage and maybe like say that like somehow succeeding in like escaping at that point because like there will be only few game doctors at that point in that game room with like the scenario that I'm able so either in such a manner or like some other incident happening and definitely Sabiak that way through some incident happening like Sabiak would be like escaping through that air ventilation and would be present in that whole huge network of like air ventilation that would be present all over like experience is like the scenario that I was just so like my considering impressions that like eventually as for like the situation with like Sangu and Sangyeon I'm considering like most likely I'm leaving most of the probability that most likely like the fifth good game I'm considering like Sangyeon as well as like Sangwoo completing that's the fifth good game but like it will be Sangyeon that would be like first ending up completing like the sixth good game first. So like I'm considering like at that point like Sangyeon and Sangwoo and maybe like there will be a few others as well. It's also like a possibility that I'm one or two others as well. It's also like a possibility that I'm considering. So like them totally think that finally they have succeeded, survived like the studio and now they will be all getting like the money would be along the lines they were all thinking. So at that point, I was wondering like the studio workers like basically showing up in front of them and basically at that point like basically maybe like the frontman as well showing up and like him basically making the reveal that basically there there can only be one winner like along such lines and basically right away at that point I was wondering like definitely for like Changu as well as like the other one or two other Australian candidates possibly who might have completed like the Australian like time on spot as like the scenario that I'm also correct. So definitely I'm also like as Changu would be like talking you realize that like he like about to die like at that point I was like right way for like Changu would be dying like Changu shouting out to like Changu on that basically like this about like Ali like basically is just a few words like I'm going like some like shouting out like some John about like maybe like don't forget about any or like something along the lines and then I was wondering maybe for like scenario to be like currently like maybe like Sangyeon ending up being like the winner of like the game in like 2020 and Sangyeon getting all that money but like yet like I'm wondering like exactly like how like the person running like the Squid Game would have sent his team to like ensure that like the winner even while he would be getting all that huge quantity of money like basically still he would like end up losing all that money like basically like the winner that whole money that reward money like the winner would be gaining like he will be like exactly like how Info like Jung Ho's brother Info would have lost after like winning like 2015 to gain that he would have gained all that huge quantity of money and he would have lost all that money someone might have stolen all that money from him, and that might have been definitely like the team members of like the person running like this video. So like I'm also the same thing to like happen with like possibly with like Sanjeev as well. It's also like a one among like the multiple possible scenarios that I'm doing. This same thing to like happen with like Sanjeev as well. And then like but still with like the reward money initially he being able to like save his mother. It's also like a possibility that I'm also and like maybe like with that money like Sangyeon would be like totally saying that basically he would be able to like live with his daughter like basically get his daughter back like basically along the lines while Sangyeon would be thinking maybe it would be around that time like maybe like eventually like all that money getting stolen and basically that way that forcing Sangyeon to like return back into like the studio like maybe in the year 20 and that happening maybe in like the year 2021 or like 2022. It's also like a lot of issues that I'm considering. And I'm also reimbursed. So like certainly the reimbursements are like it's like the people running like the Squid Game and like the Squid Game but all of them doesn't get arrested during like the 2020 Squid Game like uh, then and it's like that results in like Sangyeon ending up being like the winner of like the 2020 Squid Game and get like the reward money. Then that's a scenario. Then about the like eventually Sangyeon totally losing all that money, like all that money getting stolen by like the work of like the person running like the studio, and that eventually resulting in like Sangyeon eventually ending back, uh, entering back into like the studio eventually, and I'm looking for whether it's in like 2020 the next year in like 2021 or like 2022 regardless of that like the next time Sangyeon will be entering back into like the game at that point, definitely, I'm considering like info as well would be like definitely present, but precisely coincidentally, especially during that time, info as well would be definitely present as like they'll be also entering as like a speaking candidate. It's definitely a different journey. In that second still game journey of like Sangyeon, like I'm considering like Sangyeon's like friendship and bond will be with like info. It's like the scenario that I'm considering, and that like Sangyeon will be like continuing through that journey in like this game, basically Sangyeon finding out that like info was in fact like Junko's brother, like basically such an individual scenario happening in like that simple terms also like about the like the thing and the brain. So like the name of the Korean version is that like if in like this game in like 2020 like if eventually Sangyeon ends up being like that only winner and ends up getting like the reward money then my cousin reimbursement that like definitely accepted my cousin reimbursement that like John Hope eventually like and like in preparation for basically Jump Ho eventually getting captured and dying. And I was right before Jung Ho will be getting captured and and considering thought it would be like the front man that would be like most likely taking Jung Ho's life. And I was before that I'm considering like the moment in which like the situation which like Jung Ho would be dying, like I'm still thinking to my personal impression that like it will most likely once like Jung Ho would be like eventually finding out about infiltrating into like the room where like all the VIPs would be within like sticking in building like once that eventually maybe it would be like once like they will be the VIP will be going up for like the fifth again. Uh, at that point, probably like Jam has fight and like finally being able to like make it to like the room where like the VIPs will be, and like at that point while Jam Ho will be trying to bring like the VIPs down, like and like at that point like the front man showing up from the kind and taking Jam Ho's like the scenario that I was doing, and right before Jam Ho will be dying, like I was also like the possibility that like Jam Ho possibly finding out that with the entire time his brother this entire time this brother is not in the studio building. That his brother is somewhere outside in like the outside world. Like basically Jan Ho finding that out that him was like somewhere out in like the outside world before his life would be taken by like the command. It's also like a lot of scenario that I was doing. And my memory on business that like if Sangyeon ends up being like the winner of like the actually like ends up being like the winner rather than the Squid Game being also the name of the Korean version that I'm sitting on this, but like such a stuff will the Squid Game definitely will be also having would be such a Squid Game that would be definitely having like a connection to Sangwoo as well as like Sangyeon's like childhood memories, definitely never friends. And as for like especially right now with like the way the extreme way in which like Sangwoo is right now freaking for Ali. Like I'm considering like definitely Sangwoo as for Sangwoo, I'm definitely putting like Sangwoo would be like definitely surviving not just the fourth but like the fifth as well as the fifth game as well. But like I'm considering definitely it would be in like the sixth game is when I'm considering Sangwoo would be totally die. And and I'm definitely putting like even though Sangwoo would be I'm considering to survive like the first Squid Game. I'm considering like it will be potentially after Sangwoo surviving like the first Squid Game and before like the sixth Squid Game begins. Like during that time period, like I'm considering like that guilt of within Sangwoo for cooking. ID for ID like that guilt. I'm considering like Sangwoo totally drowning in that guilt and that guilt totally haunting Sangwoo. That I'm considering like Sangwoo would be totally eventually at that point without Ali basically the only person Sam would feel like he would be able to even talk to would be that Sangyeon, and then the person like Sam would most likely telling about how villainously he had tricked Ali and basically to Sangyeon before this game, which is like the scenario that I'm considering. And okay, so like definitely my history and mention right now with like Tango right now sending Ali off to find new players. Like definitely my mention definitely San will be only freaking Ali and basically by seizing all of that Ali's 19 marbles in his possession along with his central marble. Like I'm considering definitely the plan of Sangu I'm considering maybe would be Sangu would only think along the lines that maybe that by the time the time limit would be over at that point, if even if Sangu doesn't complete the game, the marble game with the Ali, still if once the time will be over, if Sangu has all 20 marbles, at that point maybe Sangu will be planning on maybe the maybe right now maybe right now Stadium World Cup was totally monitoring the game between Sangu and Ali. We might win temporarily right now. Probably no one would be distracted. So maybe right now this would all be Sangu right now trying to take advantage of the current situation, and basically by the time the time would be over once this two games not Karun and considering maybe right now considering potentially as Sangu is right now sending Ali off to find weak players. So right now itself I'm considering maybe Ali just right now I'm considering Sangu right now with him having all 20 marbles by his position. I'm considering Sangu maybe straight away walking up to that first game worker would be nearby and telling him that basically I have defeated Ali in the marble game. And that way, like Sangu totally lying and cheating, and basically that way, like the Squid Game worker straight away walking up to Ali and taking Ali's life. So it's like also like a possible scenario that I'm not very interested. Okay, so like the name of the very impression right now with like the person who's like playing with like the mapping game with like DXO right now, like they're having definitely by now like she would have totally with like him being so frustrated, like the name of the impression, she might have thrown all of it like mapping. Uh, Trying to get it into that hole, but like all of them might have failed. So like I'm considering right now with that DXO having like a single marble, like I'm considering in this current row of DXO, I'm considering like the marble do not fall in that hole either. It's like the scenario that I'm considering. And then like once again restarting the game once again, their game once again is like the scenario that I'm considering right now on number 3%. Also definitely number 3%. So that like in the case of like the marble game between like DXO and like the other guy, like I'm considering like in their like marketing game definitely I'm about to bring like the victory update. So right now I'm about to bring like it eventually it won't be through left, but like I'm about to bring it more than like it will be precisely through a scenario where like I'm about to bring like the game master will be monitoring like the game between DXO and like the other guy like him totally most likely definitely being distracted definitely through it will be precisely through cheating that I'm about to bring like DXO would be like definitely eventually ending up winning just like Sharon Master game against like the other guys, like the in the scenario that I was doing. And that would be how like DXO would be like winning and surviving like the first Squid Game, like the winter scenario that I was bring and different. So like that cheating kind of like a trick that eventually I'm going to bring DXO to like do that like I'm going to next only like uh, that like totally even tricking like the Squid Game of up to would be like, even monitoring like the game like skin like totally the moment he would be like distracted at that point, like that way, like they so for his cheating, like would be also tricking like the Syrian worker as well into thinking that basically like the other guy had lost and they also have won like the marble game, and that way like the other guy ending up dying in like the sports game is like given the scenario that I'm looking for and over the Yes, so like definitely one of the impression right now. So like the search for a career that like Sangu right now would have played on Ali and the any was most likely like Sangu placing his like shirt onto like the ground. Like at that point I'm looking like Ali might have been thoroughly distracted with like all the with like the players dying one by one. Like I'm looking like all that knows like I'm looking like might have totally distracted Ali, and potentially why Ali was distracted, which like certainly might have been like the point when like like uh, Sangu might have totally played like the hidden like the sack within like his shirt and might have like quickly managed to like pick up stones and basically like he might have picked up stones and a bunch of stones and he might have placed like the stones into like quickly might have put like a lot of stones into like both sacks with like one sack having like a lot of stones while like the other having like maybe like he might have quickly put like precisely found like quickly 19 stones and put that 19 stones into like 1 second into like the other sack like he might have put a single stone. So like I was bring then he might have created his like the he might have tied up the two sacks and might have put it onto like his shoulders might have been what might have happened, and maybe like luckily like Sangu might have precisely spotted like those uh, stones like lying on the ground there itself. It was like what might have happened is depending on the route, and maybe like it actually totally coincidentally and maybe by sheer luck, maybe like those stones might have been like kind of like close to like around like shape is definitely on the pyramid. So like maybe like even while Ali had touched like the one of the sack right now after like Sangu had like tied up both the sacks and put it onto like Ali's shoulder. Like even at that point when Ali had touched like one of like the sack like containing like what Ali would be like 19 marbles. Like I'm looking like it might have been 19 stones that basically Ali might have touched, but like Ali might have not been able to like not figure, realize that essentially because of like on top of him being distracted about possibly like the stones as well possibly being like kind of like almost kind of like near to like around like shape. So like that way Ali might have only gotten tricked right now because they were famous. So like beneath that shirt that like of Sango that's like lying on the ground like I'm looking like Sango might have placed all of like the 20 marbles 90 marbles of Ali as well as like a single marble that he might have actually hidden all those 20 marbles beneath that shirt of Sango is definitely what might have happened right now is definitely my good. So like right now, it's like Sangu right now telling Ali to like go and play the game with like weak targets and basically to for him to like return back in like 3 minutes. Like right now, as like Ali would be like stepping away and like straight away right now for like Sangu to like pull out the shirt uh, and basically quickly pick up like the 20 marbles and basically show it to like the studio worker and maybe like considering like Sangu uh, telling us to game worker that this was Sangu's game of trickery and in which like Ali had lost like maybe marble trickery like this was like Sangu's game of like marble trickery which like Ali had lost like basically maybe like Sangu's playing it in such a manner and basically quickly showing the 20 marbles and straight away like this game worker like going up towards like uh, going after like Ali and basically taking Ali like the scenario that I'm considering right now, my better impression. Also, definitely one of the impressions that like right now with like Sangyeon like tricking and cheating like the old man like I'm considering like Sangyeon even learning that trick of like asking like the old man again as to like what was his call or like what did he that like basically asking this again like this. Even like Sangyeon even got that strategy definitely from like due to like the old man giving Sangyeon that strategy definitely on purpose, especially when Sangyeon at the point when Sangyeon had actually lost like definitely old man consciously gave Sangyeon that strategy so that like Sangyeon could like eventually defeat like the old man. So definitely remember the image and definitely still thinking remember the image that like the old man memory loss uh, right now would be like totally a fake actor. Definitely remember the image. So like I'm considering still like for Sangyeon it would be like hurting badly for like Sangyeon to do this. Unlike in Sangwoo's case, like in Sangyeon's case, like Sangyeon's beatdown would be hurting badly. But like I'm considering like to be due to like that extreme fear as well as like Sangyeon simply with like he would be having that absolute desire to like see his like daughter again. So like definitely the Sangyeon definitely like would be like that would be totally pushing Sangyeon to do what he will be doing right now. It's definitely my most reason. So like I'm going to by the time like each and every single turn that like Sangyeon would be like constantly tricking and cheating like the old man that he likes so much. Like I'm saying like it being more and more painful. So like Sangyeon like the scenario that I'm going to so like the final set of Marvel, for example, to bring eventually like most likely to be like a scenario where like the old man being like the one who would be like betting and I'm considering like it would be Sangyeon's turn to like make the call. So like at that point I'm considering like in that final call that Sangyeon would be making like I'm considering like Sangyeon definitely will be getting that final call as well wrong. It's like the scenario that I'm considering. But like I'm considering time would be almost up. Time would be almost over. So like at that point I'm considering like Sangyeon that absolute pain within and basically Sanjon like would be in tears as like he would be once again asking like the old man as to like what did he say or like something along the lines and basically or like saying once again that like no I said like Sanjon saying even and basically like towards like the final scenario Sanjon making the call of even and basically the old man like basically asking Sangyeon maybe like what did you say and basically Sangyeon at that point tearful Sangyeon saying that at that point by then like the old man would be opening his arms so like it would be odd so like at that point a tearful Sangyeon telling the old man that basically I said odd so like basically with that like the old man dying is like the scenario that I'm about to go for example then right now I'm considering most likely it would be that I'm definitely right now like so needing what was the possibility like the old man wouldn't want Sanjeon finding out that like the old man was like faking his like memory loss in like the marble game just so that Sanjeon could win and survive. It's like trying to remember. So like I'm assuming like the old man maybe like keeping up with like fake memory loss act even towards it. That's like the scenario that I'm assuming. But like I'm assuming more likely the scenario to be like that I'm sitting out of that like maybe by like the time like the sixth game would be revealed at that point would be when like I'm assuming like and that is would have a lot of connection to like Sangyong like child memory like maybe at that point would be when like Sangyong will be getting some sort of like a shocking realization about like Sangyong realizing like the old man was in fact like Sangyong's father. So like at that point Sangyong getting like that huge shock that basically so like the old man was like during like the Fox game the old man was like totally desperately trying to putting in all that effort to like ensure that Sanjon wins, and like it was not like an actual memory loss while Sanjon had played like the fourth Squid game of Marvel game, it's like the old man. Like basically Sanjon getting that shocking realization most likely towards that point, like towards like once like the sixth game would be revealed. Only at that point Sanjon realizing this as well as like the eventual scenarios that I'm looking up again of the brain. So my reinvention as for like the other possible scenario for like what exactly like the extremely villainous kind of like a trick of Sangu would be to survive in like the first game and have I like basically I'm considering like maybe Sangu's plan would be to like basically at that point when like defeat of Sangu was like obvious with like Sangu having like only a single marble like at that point like Sangu might have came up with like the villainous strategies to like uh keep temporarily pause that marble game between like Sangu and Ali. Because like Sangu at that point would be like positive evidence for Sangu that like if he continue playing in that normal game with like Ali at that point itself like Sangu would be dying. So like I'm looking Sangu's strategy would be to like right now sending off Ali to basically show up back at success once like the 3 minute times would be over. Like I'm looking like especially if it's like according to the rule like basically like the teams were initially selected in pairs which like Ali might not only forgotten about so that way falling into like the trap and trick of like Sangu. So like Sangu's plan would be that Sangu would be totally expecting Ali to definitely not be able to find any players to like play with. So like I was saying that would be definitely that absolute confidence that like Sangu would be having. So like definitely Sangu would be totally expecting like for Ali to like return back towards like Sangu precisely at the moment like the 3 minutes would be shortly just about to be over. Like at that very last few and like maybe like the very last minute, like would even like Sang would be totally expecting like Ali to like by then not be able to like find any players that want to play the game with and Marvel game with and basically for Ali to like return back to like Sangu precisely during that last 1 minute. Like this would be like the plan to have Ali return back to like Sangu precisely at the last minute. Uh, would be like Sangu's clan is definitely member friendly. So that like at that point like Sangu and the trying like according to like Sangu's like Williams strategy, Sangu will be planning on at that point like to totally put in all that pressure and like to totally put Ali in the spot so that like at that point Sangu's plan would be to like bring Sangu at that point telling Ali that basically he won't play like the marble game. At that point like Ali would be like extremely scared and Ali would be showing up and telling the scenario of the project for Ali practically at that last minute like showing up in front of like Sangu and telling Sangu that like he wasn't able to like find anyone to play with. So Ali would want to like play like finish like the game with like Sangu. So like at that point Sangu telling Ali that is really no, I'm not going to play the game. So let's try like so we'll so let's we are going to die together. To be along the lines at that point that I'm also trying like Sango would be telling Ali. So like to make Ali himself tell Sango that basically to listen to Sango so that like for Ali himself wanting Sango to survive. That would be what the trap and like the strategy of villain strategy of Sango especially when the so because like especially because of Ali having like a family about whom like Ali cares so much. Like if Ali as well as Sangu loses the game and it was sometimes like basically absolutely no one would be able to look after or like take care of like Ali's family. Like so he would be able to like save Ali's family. So like at that point, so specifically because of the sort of reason like for to put in all that pressure and into like making Ali totally give up his life so that like Sang who could like win like the marble Squid game and basically that way like Sangwoo at that point will be planning on like making Ali the promise that basically that he would definitely win like the Squid game all the Squid game for Ali and basically but like he would like give half of and he will be getting all that reward money and he will be giving like half of it the reward money to like Ali's family and saving Ali's family. Like that way like for Sangwoo to like make that promise to Ali precisely during that last 1 minute so that like with like time being so less like and Ali's family being so really precious to Ali like Ali at that point still make Ali feel like at that point he has absolutely no honor to it and that way for Ali's family to make Ali give up in like the game, and so that Sang Yeon could like that way survive and basically uh, the Fox Squid game while Ali would be dying. Like to for such a scenario to happen would be like the for Sang to survive and Ali to die at that point. To make such a scenario happen would be like the plan of Sang right now behind him, sending Ali off and that way wasting or that precious time of like the Fox game would be precisely versus villainous conscious intent by Sangu. It's definitely my personal very impressive for like the other possible scenarios that I'm going to bring. And so like if like that scenario eventually happens, then I'm considering as to like how exactly Sangu will be like winning and Ali will be particularly losing to like Sanu. Even that will be definitely according to like the villain's plan, like Sanu. I'm still to my impression that at that point it would be most likely within like while only seconds would be like remaining for only a single minute or seconds would be like remaining for like the game for like the time for like the first game would be over like at that point like Ali like eventually the pressure forcing Ali to like listen to like Sangu and basically Sangu at that point telling Ali to basically hold all the 19 marbles into the both of his palm and basically then Sangu with his single marble in Sangu's hand Sangu straight away calling on and basically that 19 marbles ending up Sangu straight away taking away quickly snatching away and taking away all that 19 marbles from a tearful Ali was living the scenario that ends of the train and straight away the game of taking the life of plurality, the scenario that I'm going to bring another brand. Yes, so the image is very impressive right now as for right now with the old man this is the last three marbles as the old man's finally about to lose to Sangyeon. This we are right now the old man he was telling Sangyeon about his son's birthday and him specifically mentioning the number 24 would be definitely for the old man that would be I'm assuming his final wish before he dies, and that would be most likely for Sangyeon to find out that even though definitely my realization that this entire past for Sangyeon not knowing if father is alive or where is he basically definitely Sangyeon's mother might have totally lied to Sangyeon back when Sangyeon was a child that his father might father died in an accident or something. She might have totally told him, and this is only due to Sanjay's father as well. Definitely, still think that I was able with Sanjay's father as well. Exactly like in Sanjay's case, Sanjay's father as well might have had a good job, and that might have been when he might have gotten married. To which might have been this fortnight then can he back then when he was young, he might have totally gotten married to Sanjay's mother, and back then he might have totally had a good job, and precisely due to the person running the school game, he would definitely be might have been a childhood friend of this old man, and he might have always lost in all those childhood good games, and basically he might have had that absolute jealousy and grudge towards the old man that basically he wanted to eventually get revenge on the old man by eventually luring and trapping him into shooting. He might have that grudge might have been what eventually resulted in that person eventually as he grew up even coming up with the idea to run to create this Squid Game painted angel Squid Game stuff in and to solely to lure the old man as well as his kids basically Sangyeon as well as well. And I'm also that Indian app would be running the studio and why he would be he might have been the old man's childhood friend basically he might have also his son might have also been definitely playing along with Sangwoo and Sangyeon during their childhood period. So even back then he might have been secretly present in that his father might have been present in that playground and he might have been simply observing if his son would be able to make a difference and basically be able to defeat the son of the old man with dementia. So so even he might have gotten extremely enraged like when he might have seen like the son as well, like exactly like him, like every time like losing to like Sanjeon in like that childhood game. So like I'm looking like this all collectively like might have resulted in like basically him like of the absolute grudge, like even creating more and like the frontman might be like the person running the studio and his son. So the definitely was very much so might have created this good game with like that desire to like basically take the life of these three, specifically these three people, like the old man with dementia as well as like Sangwoo and Sanjeon, especially my personal impression. So like my personal impressions are like the person running like the game himself, like basically once he might not only threaten, she featured a lot of people into that eventually becoming like a billionaire and that way like he might have eventually become a VIP and like using his like influence like he might have also gotten like VIPs as well eventually. That might be how like he might have gotten like other VIPs who might be like popular figures in like the world of like the game series and basically like that way, like he might have also seen like the game as well as a thing to like make a lot of money. But like even more than that, like he might have been like setting up like the Squid Game and running like the Squid Game from Dangerous Squid Game from 99 to all the way to like 2020 with just like biggest and top priority being to like eventually get Sangwoo and Sanjeon as like the old man with dementia to like fall into like extreme that prevent situation so that like that way to like eventually lure them to like this again. So like he might have only uh, succeeded in doing that like eventually by like only by 2020 like the scenario that I'm looking right. So like definitely one of the impressions are like the old man with like dementia, like basically before this like dementia and the brain like he might have totally had like a good job and might have been married to like definitely Sangyeon like mother and like also like eventually he might have totally lost his job like a good job that he might have maintained exactly like Sangyeon for like maybe a decade like but like he might have lost that job solely due to like the influence of like influence and like the work of that first person that would be like running the stadiums will be like the child friend of the old man. This definitely one of the ambition. So like that way after losing his job, like he might have started his the old man but like many during his like younger days, like after this losing his job, he might have started like betting and that might have resulted in like him reaching a lot of like that certain situations definitely one of the ambition. So and Sangyong's mother might have been from like a wealthy family, so like understand she might have been able to like pay off his debt back then, but like understanding like still she might have gotten divorce from him and might have told him to like never ever like that Sangyong should never ever know that basically he is like Sangyong's father, else like Sangyong as well will be like developing like setting nature like basically that might have been what like Sangyong's mother might have want and told like the old man thing is definitely my was the impression. So like after that, like what might have happened would be like he might have thought up to like the path, like the playground where like Sangyeon would be like playing with his like friends, along with like Sangwoo and friends. So like that person who would be like who wore the cap as well and was making that whole dessert with like the whole star triangle and all that shape like and purple shape like basically that person particular my reference that would definitely be like the Sangyeon father like the very same old man the same and just definitely that would be like him wanting to like see his son like yet like since like he couldn't tell Sangyeon since according to like what his like wife had told him like since he couldn't like he would might have not wanted to like break his the promise that his wife might have made uh, fully made him make the like before he might have gotten divorced from him. Like and the people make so like to please Agyeon would might have been like so the reason like he might have showed up to like that success path like in such a disguise to certainly memorable impression. So definitely might have very impressions that like eventually right now but like him like with that definitely like currently right now in like the marble game he's like Sandy or like definitely he would be like definitely his like memory loss would be right now that is like shown would be definitely fake act definitely one of the friends who's just to like that Sandy on Winko like I'm doing right now as he's like well fully aware that he's like he would be like well fully aware that like he's about to die so like I'm like right now while standing in like the verge of like like he might be so getting so desperate that like even if it breaks the promise that he might have like that he kept this like great number of years like him finally deciding to like basically break that promise especially because of like, the old man being like so extremely desperate to to basically die without like as his son finding out that he's his father. So like emphasizing in order for Sang Yeon to like find that out, emphasizing would be like that's the reason for like right now as like the old man is like has lost like the marble. It's like about to lose the marble game and like on like the verge of his death like emphasizing like him right now, even telling Sangyeon like about his son's birthday and it being like on the 24th, specifying like the number 24th, like really precisely for like Sangyeon to like eventually get it and eventually realize that it, the old man was in fact Sangyeon's father. But, definitely my brother impression. That might have been like the old man's like last bit in his life to definitely my brother impression. So like my secondary impression right now as for like Sangyeon, yeah, as for like when exactly Sangyeon will be finding out and realizing that the old man is in fact like Sangyeon's father, like and was like that such a scenario should definitely happen, especially when I was right. And that's what when exactly that would be happening, like and was like either it would be like one like the game would be revealed, like at that point Sangyeon something you're realizing it's like that's like the one possibility that I've kind of experienced. Like the other scenarios basically like right now as like the first game would be over and Sanjon would be winning like the first game. And as like precisely with like the old man dying like and Sanjon like being extremely sad and in pain and crying a lot and precisely as like Sanjon would be like about to leave like the that Squid Game room along with like all the other winners of like the first Squid Game. Like right at that very last second, like Sangyeon like remembering the last final words of like the old man that about his son's birthday and it being on like the 24th and Sangyeon at that point fortunately maybe like having that realization that his own birthday is in like the 24th. So like at that point like Sangyeon totally recollecting back like all of like memories as to like everything all of his memories involving the old man like dementia for like him totally finding as for him showing up casually one day like in like the outside world and basically him sharing his food with like Sanjon and basically everything he has done for like Sanjon until that point and basically at that point maybe like after like thinking back on all that like Sanjon talking realizing that like the old man as like Sanjon would be about to step out of like the fourth Squid Game room like Sanjon talking realizing that like the old man was that house right now died like basically was in fact like Sanjon's like own father like basically at that point like Sanjon like shockingly realizing and Sanjon quickly running back into like Squid room for Squid Game room and basically there like Sanjon basically taking like the chef and at that point I'm able to like the Squid Game workers would be like picking up like the dead body of like the old man and would be like about to carry it away. So like at that point Sanjon like an extremely emotional and tearful Sanjon like showing running towards there and basically pushing like the Squid Game workers away and basically quickly removing like the shirt number one shirt from like old man and number two from like Sanjeev like basically putting on like removing his like final 456 shirt and basically putting on like the number one shirt of like the old man and at that point like Sanjeev even remembering like the words of like the old man that basically I think like at some point like basically the old man has told Sanjeev that basically that shirt of like the final last number of 456 doesn't suit of it's not suiting Sanjeev and then basically maybe like something along the lines of like number one suit like Sanjeon or something like that. Leave Sanjeon while putting on the number one shirt of like the old man at that point, like Sanjeon like remembering that dialogue from like the old man from that point as well. It's like an emotional kind of like a such a scenario. It's like also like about the that I'm considering, also scenario of like a thing that I'm considering and about it's sort of made on the mention right now. I've got like Stadio and like the other girls like Marvel Studio and I'm also bring like Stadio throwing and lately like the Marvel even reaching and even hitting like the wall. It's like set up in a scenario that I remember. So the bring like Stadio definitely even though Stadio would be like a certain part of Stadio to be totally feeling as of like basically definitely like the other girl is definitely going to like uh purposefully induced to like Sage of there will be also like there will be that feeling within Sage of me. And that will be the perfect reason for like Sage of right now as like she's about to play the game with her marble game with her like Savior, even telling her name Savior would be precisely because of that Stephanie member brain. Yet like there would be still that other half of Savior that's like totally still doubtful of that were still of eventually maybe tricking Savior, maybe like this entire talk from her in such friendly manner, all being like a trick or a trap that for Savior would be also like there would be that other side of Savior who from even from Savior so far a lot of people might have only trust Savior, so that would be one major factor Savior being so it being extremely hard for Savior to trust anyone at all. It's definitely my programmers. So definitely my programmers is then Savior would be throwing the marble and president Savior giving it the absolute full strength and failure of throwing the marble and that's the marble hitting that brick wall is the scenario that I'm considering. But I'm considering failure getting the biggest shock when one the other does turn to throw the marble. I'm considering her straight away dropping the marble to the ground. I'm considering her not even throwing the marble, but her straight away dropping the marble to the ground and straight away her dying. It's the scenario that I'm also putting another thing. So definitely another very impression right now for the old man asking to borrow a single marble from Sangyon. Even that as well definitely would be the old man being desperate to the old man would be well and fully aware that definitely the memory of right now would be definitely a fake act. Definitely one of the mention that is sitting on to even right now, especially when we're precisely because of the old man being desperate as a father, him being desperate at his final moments to want to spend as much time as he can with his son. With whom with who doesn't even to this point doesn't know that that old man is just his father basically it will be just the old man being desperate the old man even while right now he's asking for a single marble from Sanjion it will be just with the conscious intent from his side that basically he will be definitely would be only wanting to play the marble game, play with the son, spend time with the son until right before the time runs out. So that at that very last second he will be totally planning on until then playing with Sangyon so that right before the time would be over for he would be definitely would have decided to definitely right before time would be over he would definitely be purposefully losing to Sangyon. It's definitely my personal emotion. To be just desperate to that spend that what's left of that 30 minutes. Uh, he will be seeing that as the only time left that he could totally that he has left to spend the purpose some. So basically that would be the precise and sole reason for him right now asking for a marble from Sanjion. But definitely my daughter advises that no matter how much but and I'm also like the old man not repeat going to repeatedly ask Sangyon for a single marble. I'm also like the old man only asking Sangyon for a marble only once and I'm also bring Sangyon simply won't be able to bring himself to give that marble back to the old man precisely because of Sangyon would definitely be believing that the memory loss that the old man would definitely be putting up in the fake the memory loss. But Sangyon would have only fallen for it and should be thinking that basically genuinely the dementia picking it and again for the old man would be what Sangyon would be thinking. So Sangyon won't be that time with unfortunately not great much of time would be left right now. So for 30 minutes to be over so Sangyon won't be having the courage to take any more and basically to continue the game because Sangyon would only fearing for the dementia effect getting to the point where the old man once again refusing to play the game. If that's the scenario happens, then Sangyon as well will be dying around with the old man. So by the time the time will be over. So I'm wondering Sangyon will be so extremely worried and won't be having would be afraid and won't be having the courage to take that risk and I'm wondering Sangyon right now definitely refusing to give up not even a single one among the 20 marbles right now Sangyon posture. Just the scenario that I'm considering and straight away the studio was showing up to the old man and basically taking the life of like the old man is like the scenario that I'm about to bring. And definitely, especially right now with like the old man right now having even by saying like the birthday, like basically of his son, like talking about his son's birthday and like specifying like the number 24 being like the day of like his son's birthday, like definitely it's like my birthday was just that also old man is like trying to like indirectly trying to like let Sanjay find out at least eventually that like the old man is like Sanjay's father, like but like the old man definitely right before he dies, like I'm about to bring like the last word, like the old man would be telling Sangyeon would be Janbu, to like the scenario that I'm about to bring. So like since like Janbu was like the word the old man had told Sangyeon precisely before like the old man started with like fake dementia act, fake memory loss act, like I'm about to bring like definitely at that point like when the old man says the word Gambu before he dies, like I'm about to bring maybe like at that point itself, like Ambudring maybe such a scenario can happen and basically at that point it's like Sangyeon maybe shockingly realizing that like this entire time like the old man was like putting up a fake memory of act just to let Sangyeon win in this like Marvel begin. Like Sangyeon shockingly realizing that is also like a very good possible scenario that I'm observing right now and my first reaction. Okay, so like the feeling of the reaction right now is that like things like don't remember the reaction, the feeling like the old man will be like totally taking his like current memory of like and was definitely he might have been absolutely certainly confident that basically Sang yeah, definitely because like he would have like even from back when like Sangyeon was like during like even from Sangyeon's childhood like even in the disguise of like basically selling all that food item with like the star shape, like the circle shape, umbrella shape, like all that, like basically that person with like the cap would definitely be this very same old man. And that was like even from then he might have been noticing like Sangyeon each and every single day, and like as Sangyeon was playing and how he is like the kind of person that Sangyeon is and everything. Like he might have totally learned, he might have by now like he might have totally stealthily by seeing Sangyeon, like without Sangyeon finding out, like basically he might have like maybe even seen that Sangyeon almost every single day from that day, from that distant past itself, which definitely I was remembered. So like by now he would like totally know Sangyeon, his son Sangyeon far too well that basically he might have totally knew that basically if he asked like for that one marble like that Sangyeon definitely won't be giving him like is definitely one of the Emerson that would be the reason for like him consciously having like get a fun of his like marble so that like he could like totally keep playing and things would be totally going according to like the way he wants that basically so that like he could like totally keep playing with like not playing but like so that like he could like at least like since like there's only like what's left of like the 30 minutes like only what's left for like the old man to be able to like spend with the son to like Sanjeev like this he won't be like that he won't be like that as good gamer with the team definitely would be what right now we can do all this that basically he simply won't be like willing at all to like basically waste away any of those like those that what's left of the current 30 minutes time would be like the most precious time that like government sees as of his life if the payment of the reimbursement. So like he won't be like at all willing to like give up not even a single second of like that or like a minute of like that precious time. If the payment of the reimbursement will be the reason for like him or secondly definitely having like consciously hidden that single marker is definitely my the reimbursement. Also, the flavor of the reimbursement right now it's definitely that like the in like San Jones team members like among like San Jones team members like the ones with like the kind of like the biggest heart but the like those exact members right now in like towards like the end of like, the first game will be definitely like it's like the scenario that I'm about to bring like the old man definitely, in the case of like the old man, even being forced to like enter into like the Squid Game, like the definitely the old man as well would be like exactly like in like a kind of like similar situation as San John might have ended up in like such extreme depth, and that would be solely due to like him ending up in like the old man ending up in like that unlike in San John, is like the old man ending up in such an extreme depth would be solely due to like him knowing like everything that's going on, not only in like Sangyon's life, but like about like Sangyon's mother and like basically uh, about this like wife, like they might have definitely not gotten divorced. Like I'm saying, like Sanjay's mother might have only gotten like decided to like stay away from like Sanjay's father for like the future, for like the bright future of Sanjay. It's just for like the concern over like Sanjay like future. Definitely what might have happened is definitely not the remedy. So like the old man like ending up in such an extreme that might have been solely due to like his like effort, repeated effort. It might have been like the old man as well might have only better a lot and like might have lost a lot money, and that might be precisely also how he too might have ended up in such an extreme debt. It's also definitely a good reimbursement. And the sole reason for like him betting and ending up in that debt might have been solely for like him to basically save like the life of like this like wife, Sangyon's mother as well as Sangyon as well as like so that like Sangyon could like get his like daughter back. Like basically this just like totally make this happen might be like the sole reason for like the whole man even ending up in such an extremely huge debt, and like eventually even this act of like even entering into like the civilian as well, and those things might have been solely for like Sanjeon and Sanjeon's mother as well as like Sanjeon's dog. It's definitely might have the reimbursement. So like the name of the impressions were like the old man and like Savior friend as well as like Ali. These three would definitely be alive. Like I'm just definitely not predicting like something, some incident to happen or like jump for like causing some sort of like a situation and there's some sort of like a situation happening and that like totally sparing like the lives of like Ali, like the old man as well as like the friend of like that girl, friend of like Savior. Like that's definitely not happening. So like these three like the old man as well as like see their friend, that girl, as well as like Ali as well. Like we three, like the people with like the biggest heart, like diamonds, like the scenario that I'm going to bring in. In the case of like Ali, definitely protecting like in the case of like Ali didn't have a family. I'm going to bring like in like the current situation with like Franco, Ali would might have definitely even might have tried to like might have agreed to like someone actually to like so that like Sangwoo could like live on like and something like if Ali didn't have a family like Ali might have sacrificed his life to like save Sangwoo. It's also like a possibility that I'm definitely possibility that I'm disappointing. But like even with like Ali having a family like and like it's Sangwoo had like basically instead of tricking and cheating like Ali, it's Sangwoo had basically cheated Ali in like a different manner in which like basically like Sanwoo had basically told Ali that basically uh, Sanwoo had instead decided to like decided to like take advantage of like the fact that Ali has like a family to like basically tell Ali that basically that Sanwoo's not going to play the game continue the game anymore until like the time runs out. Sanwoo's not going to play the game. That was what Sanwoo had said. Precisely when Sanwoo was down to his like last marble, the numbers bring like by the time like the time will be almost over like by the time it might have ended up at like only 1 minute left for like 30 minutes to be over, like at that point definitely Ali would have totally sacrificed his life and given Sangwoo voluntarily given Sangwoo like all of his like 19 marbles with like in exchange for like Sangwoo's promise and might have already let Sangwoo live in exchange for like a single promise from Sangwoo that basically Sang definitely would win like this weekend and on winning like Sangwoo would like uh, give at it and not even but like Ali won't be even like asking for like half of like exact half of like the reward money, but like Ali would be at that point like might have only told Sangwoo that basically like just like to give like just enough money to his like family so that like his family could like live peacefully in comfort to like the very end like basically like that much of like a huge heart and that's the thing that Ali would be definitely having especially like other everybody. So like these three so like Squid Game candidates and like Sangyun's thing is like the biggest heart like the old man like the friend of Savior like that and like Ali definitely would be like dying right now certainly nothing very much. Okay, so like the my Australian correction right now, but like Sangu right now about to leave like the fourth to game room and basically Sangu right now hearing like the calling of Sangu by Ali, like basically things called of like for Sangu definitely and by Ali definitely would definitely would be haunting that song from point on. It's definitely my preference. That I think I'm definitely preferring to set in and will be haunting the song. And I'm preferring right now, but like definitely right now with like Ali right now realizing shock when you're realizing not just that like he had been like lied to, tricked and cheated, gotten cheated by Sangwoo, but also as like how exactly he has gotten tricked, like basically with like poor Ali being in like shock and tears, like I'm referring like Ali right now also shouting. Right now I'm referring the right before like Ali dies, like right now I'm referring like Ali totally shouting like Ali would be totally would be confident that like Sangwoo would be like somewhere in that studio room and would be able to like hear Ali right now. And so like I'm looking like Ali right now with that shock and tear like the different like as like the studio master right now I'm looking will be walking up towards Ali to like take Ali like I'm looking like Ali is only shouting out to like Sangwoo just I'm looking like it will be the Ali telling Sangwoo that basically to win in like the good game. Like that is what I'm considering Ali totally telling Sangwoo. Maybe like that being like more than enough for like from Ali's point of view, I would before they think that that would be more than enough for like shouting out to Sangwoo to like win like the Squid Game, even after like Ali having been tricked by Sangwoo. That's Ali would be totally think that that would be more than enough for like Sangwoo to like get what Ali was is trying to hint at and tell Sangwoo by saying Sangwoo to like win like the Squid Game to ensure that like we win the Squid Game. So that like basically Sangwoo would be able to like save Ali's family. It's like for that's like the scenario that I'm remembering. Like Ali right now, like before dying, like just shouting out to like Sangwoo from like the distance, like shouting out to Sangwoo and telling Sangwoo to like uh, like that to definitely win like the six game, like to definitely win like all six games. Like that's like what I'm considering for Ali to do right now. Because yeah, like it's like the scenario that I'm considering. Okay, so like the thing on the story I'm mentioning right now has got like Sabiak right now struggling to contain her tears. That's basically that girl, the thing that Sabiak right now has been played like the marble game with like tells Sabiak like thanks for playing with her. Like basically right then like for Sabiak to like for this struggle to contain her tears will be not because of like the bond between like Sabiak and that girl that was formed that might have been formed through like the good game journey, but like I'm looking like it should be precisely because of, like at that point when Sadia heard that basically her saying like thanks for like playing with her like basically at that point like Sadia might have like once again been reminded or like maybe like Sadia at that point might have like realized or like that basically after she had like her having told for her life story to like Celia might have at that point, like basically, just shockingly realized that basically, since she had like basically, since that girl had basically lost her family at a young age and had gone to prison at like a young age, like basically, like the only friend since then after going to prison at a young age, like the only friend she had since then uh, would definitely be Celia in her life, like the only friend she might have made since then after going to prison might have been only Celia. Like basically, and that like so like basically when she said like thanks for playing with her, like basically like what Celia might have only realized what she meant that like for like. And this might have been definitely thanks for being her friend. That might have been what like she might have only meant through that dialogue. So like Celia, like that realization for Celia that like uh, Celia is like the only friend that she had since going to prison. Like basically that realization might be what might have been path to painful for like Celia to what say and like the reason for like Celia struggling right now to like contain her tears. It's definitely my personal reaction. Yes, and definitely I'm looking at right now with like the old man right now finding his home in like the Fox good game like area like number something like definitely would be like precisely due to like his home being precisely person that would be precisely due to like this exact game like Fox good game like Liam's thing to remember exact Fox good game would be precisely like would be intended for specifically targeting like the old man with dementia, like super Brazilian show which that by like and it will be the decision of like the person running the experience. He might have been like the child in front of the government in a jet. Like he might have been totally getting extremely enraged and frustrated seeing like the old man like basically exactly like how he would always lose to like the old man. He might have always talked to like the old man back in like the childhood games that they would have played in like the instant past when they were also like it would be getting that for a deja vu right now, seeing like where like always like it might have been like the old man that might have always won even back then. It might have been like the person running his game that might have always lost to like the old man back then. Like we might have right now seeing like the old man like completing like the first winning like the first, second, and third Squid Game. Like that might have given him that person running like the Squid Game like villain of person like that extreme deja vu of his like past memory, which like he would be like that might have extremely disturbed him. That basically like the game would definitely be his like absolute desire to like get revenge on like the old man as well as Sangu and Sangyeo is definitely my personal language to for him to like have them made that suffering that while losing like the Squid Games, like the games that they were so good at during their childhood to like have them end up suffering, end up like losing in games like that with like a suffering that like would be like the person trying like to experience this way of like getting revenge on them is definitely member to them. So like with like the old man like winning like the first, second, and third Squid Game and proceeding on to like the fourth Squid Game. Like at that point, like he might have gotten that deja vu and like the person running like the Squid Game might have gotten that deja vu and he might have like gotten like extremely enraged and frustrated. So like I'm different like precisely with like the number of players ending up being odd. Like I'm sitting to my personal impression, like given like the number of players ended up being like an odd number, like before like the first game. I'm considering like with like the doctors, because like at that point I'm considering like the it might be the decision of like the person running in the game that like basically he might have decided to take advantage of like such a scenario by creating this like exact for the game to be exactly this current game so that no matter the case and he might not only consider in terms of when it comes to like the fair selection, the fair team selection, like absolutely no one picking like the old man might have been what he might have thought like so yet like he might have also from the backup strategy as well in case like the old man was like chosen and that happening with like some Gion like choosing like the old man yet like the backup strategy might have been this like a game so that way like through like the post game being in such a manner like basically that way to like ensure like the old man dies in like the fourth game and it's definitely to ensure that by like the person running this studio might have been what might be happening right now. And this might be the reason for like the person running in this game even setting up like the stage for like the for the game in such a manner that so that like the house like the old man with dementia in that uh, aside for Indian areas, definitely my been very appreciated. So definitely like and I'm also bringing this home of like the that like the old man right now is saying claiming to be his home, which definitely be in actuality his home and basically the home in which like Sangyeon, like the child Sangyeon and his father as well as like his mother might have lived in like the beginning before like the old man might have lost his job due to the villain of the being like in front of a old man like him only using his like influence to to injury and that way like him working and basically behind like him being like the reason behind like usually what might have happened would be like the old man like losing his job and basically ending up eventually ending up in that sudden and ending up in like uh, ending up starting to like that uh, starting to like getting thing and all that like and creating a lot of that so like at that point like Sangyeon content mother might have left with like Sangyeon from this exact home that like the old man right now is like seeing in like the fourth studio stage is definitely one of the reasons that might have been like the actual home of like Sangyeon like the old man and Sangyeon's mother might have initially before like Sangyeon and his mother might have Sangyeon's mother might have taken Sangyeon and left from there and then might have started living in like the first apartment where like currently Sangyeon will be living with his like no that is definitely what might have happened. It's definitely might have been Emerson. And right now with like the old man right now even mentioning about like how he would like basically hide and seek while Sangyeon and his friends will be like playing uh, in front of like house, like basically this would be that's the reason for like the old man being like playing like the very first Squid game of like the red light green light Squid game like in such an extremely enthusiastic manner, and like the old man, that's the reason for like the old man being so extremely good at like the very first like hide and seek like red light green light Squid game will be precisely because of like all these memories like kicking in for like the old man, and basically and with him having skated to like considering like that to be the reason, that's the reason for like Dorman being so good at like the red light green light so game continuing with the temperature. So like so like basically the old man hiding and peeking like what is like even while right now like old man the old man says that like Sangyo that like his son and his friends were like used to play in front of the home, and they absolutely no one they will be like knowing that basically he was like hiding and peeking, and considering like definitely like the child of friend of like the old man might have been stealthily observing all the criminal members and the old man hiding and peeping and all that. This is definitely meant to be which so like this might be definitely a fact in like the billionaire, like the girlfriend, the billionaire boss that's like running like the Squid game, even setting up this like very first Squid game in 2020 where like the old man has entered in like the Squid game, uh, the very first game itself being that being connected to that red light, green light, that hide and seek game will be precisely consciously might have definitely been a conscious decision by the precise billionaire or like the billionaire boss that like running like the Squid game. Definitely was the right, and he might have totally expected like the old man to like totally die in like the red light, green light Squid game itself. That's definitely my good temperature, and hence being like and hence like my good impressions that like the Indian are that the running like studio and like his expectations might have when after like the old man won like the first red light green light became like and re-entered back like even at that point like basically he might have been not like sitting for like the old man to die in like second game. Then he might have gotten frustrated with like the old man winning the second like then he might have expected like the third Squid games to be like the point where like the old man will be dying. So like this would be like even after like the old man won like third Squid game like I'm like him might have taking the decision to like ensure that the old man dies with like the craft of like the first Squid game might have been done in such a manner. It's definitely my consideration. Okay, so like definitely my consideration right now as for like the old man like hiding his like one single marble this entire time like and like it might have definitely my consideration right now is that like it might have like million like a conscious decision by like the old man as like this as like a father for him. And he might it might have been extremely important for him like and extremely the biggest priority for him to like basically to ensure that he might be like the name of the old man would be like absolutely confident and would be having that absolute confidence and faith in like Sangwon that Sangwon would be like definitely to eventually end up becoming like the winner of the district. And the old man would, has like a father would be having that absolute confidence in his son Sangyeon, especially after he has seen like Sangyeon, like how well Sangyeon had played the childhood game and everything. So you might definitely have that absolute confidence in Sangyeon being able to like win like the entirety of the sixth good game. It's definitely my preparation. But like I'm also saying like the number one definitely will be having a lot of relevance. With like the old man's like uniform itself being like number one. Like I'm also saying like with like right now like the old man hiding that single marble, and right now with like the old man telling Sangyeon about like waging everything like Sangyeon have like the 19 marbles for just the single marble of like the old man. And like Sangyeon totally thinking that doesn't make sense. Like basically this might have been definitely like that absolute conscious decision by like the old man as like a father. Like he might have definitely wanted to like teach uh Sangyeon and make Sangyeon aware of like this mistakes he had been doing this entire life with like the betting and everything with just like one marble before like and he might have been his like biggest priority and he might have wanted to like to teach Sangyeon that before he died in the fourth Squid game. It's definitely my brother and Sangyeon right now like as like the old man telling Sangyeon that this was what he had been doing this entire life, your entire life, like basically Sangyeon even tearing up like I'm possibly like Sangyeon's tears would be like I'm possibly looking more likely to like Sangyeon realizing that basically when like the old man asked right now asked Sangyeon that like that doesn't make sense to like trick your friend like that. But basically that would be like maybe like Sangyeon even totally realizing like thinking back and realizing basically that like what Sanjyon had been doing his entire life with his like betting and everything like Sanjyon was like risking everything like Sanjyon was by tricking his friend like at that point Sanjyon might have remembered his mother like someone so precious to like Sanjyon like basically that like Sanjyon had so casually tricked and Sangyon had like basically almost bet all through like the betting just to like get that just for that one possibility of like the betting ending up being right. Like basically Sangyon had put it all like it all and basically lost had thrown away and lost away like basically all the savings of like Sangyon's mother and everything just for that like one single marble like that one single chance of like winning in that betting. So basically through this dialogue of like the old man, like these might be the things that like Sanjyon might have realized that basically while Sanjyon right now is going through that extreme suffering of like a situation and while Sanjyon has lost everything in his life and like Sanjyon right now is going through this extreme dangerous situation and suffering and all to like set things right like basically Sanjyon like through like the old man right now Sangyon's tears will be Sanjyon realizing that like this entire time like basically this was all like basically Sangyon for that Sangyon ended up in like the situation where he is and going through all the suffering would be like that realization of Sangyon that basically that like everything he did in like the past that got him to this like certain situation like everything he did in the past was like that absolute mistake and doesn't make sense exactly like how like risking all like the 19 marbles right now in such an extremely dangerous situation. That's extreme risk, like risking all the 19 marbles for that single one 90 marbles doesn't make sense to like Samgyeon. That's definitely my secondary impression. And even though like like it won't be entirely still it won't be entirely Samgyeon's fault. Especially because of like definitely the billionaire running like the Squid Game definitely would might have definitely have played like a serious role in like Sangyeon like losing his like job that Sangyeon had maintained for like a decade and getting fired one day. And it's definitely my personal yet like I'm considering like the old man I'm considering like what he would be trying to make Sangyeon understand would be that like even while things are not going according to like things are not seeming fair and things are not going according to like what the way Sangyeon wants like still for Sangyeon to like basically throw himself and put himself into like the whole betting and everything. Like basically, the old man might be trying to like make Sangyeon realize that basically no matter like the situation, like basically what still like what Sangyeon did was like wrong. And basically was like a huge mistake. Like basically to make Sangyeon realize, fully realize that so that like in the future Sangyeon won't to repeat such mistakes. Like because like the old man will be absolutely confident in his son Sanjay that basically he would definitely win like this again and get that reward money. But like even then like basically for Sanjay to like never repeat his like very same mistakes that he made in the past would be like the preparation for like the old man right before his death. Even ensuring that he teaches like Sanjay that lesson the hard way. It's definitely my personal impression. And like definitely considering like the old man himself will be speaking, most likely it's definitely my personal impression that like, the old man right now, like he will be teaching Sangyeon this like valuable lesson, like like which like the old man will be totally feeling as like absolutely valuable and Sangyeon will be totally feeling as absolutely valuable. While like the old man will be teaching this lesson to like Sangyeon, like the old man would be like be able to like teach this to like Sangyeon from like the old man own mistakes that like so it's definitely my consideration. The old man himself would have lost his job in like the past due to like the very same skin and would be like running when he can in his influence. And then he him too might have totally gotten into like betting and might have lost it all as well and fallen into debt as well in like the past. So like he, while like the old man had learned from by the time like the old man might have learned from his like mistakes like and was something like he might have been extremely sad and disturbed and disappointed that basically his son was going to taking the very same path as him. This is definitely my good emerging. Yeah. So like my good emerging right now with like the old man right now teaching Sangyeon with like lesson by now those bring maybe so like I'm bring like the old man step which might have not eventually got an old man into um feeling forced into like there being no other option for like the old man other than entering like this again like that might not only happen due to like maybe that like being formed for like the old man in like maybe in like the instant past due to like the old man after losing his job like betting a lot. Definitely my big comparison. So like after like the old man might have stopped like just like betting and like eventually made him felt that like it was like totally wrong. What he did was totally wrong and a mistake. Like by then like I'm considering like it might have been too late for like the old man as like the that might have already been like far too much and like he might have been extremely sad like seeing like he might have still continued on his like hide and seek with like Sangyeon and he might have watched like Sangyeon grew up and reached like even like the percentage that he might have the ambition. So like he might have been totally extremely disappointed on seeing like Sangyeon like basically following the same path as of like the mistake that he feels that he had did like in his past and like as like Sangyeon started like betting as well like about like the woman might have only seen stealthily seen all this and basically uh, and so my was reimbursement that like right now it's like government is at like the verge of that like reimbursement government want to see like ensure that like Sangyon realize of this and basically Sangyon never proceeds with in like the future and never goes down like the path of like betting again in like the future after like winning like this video and getting the reward money, which like the old man will be totally confident about as for like Sangyon, as a son like Sangyon will be able to achieve. So definitely my very ambition. So like definitely my very ambition right now as for like the old man's name being like Ho in while like Sangyon's name like Sangyon. Like I'm supposed to bring like still I'm supposed to bring them would be like definitely father and son. Like I'm supposed to bring definitely what might have happened would be that Sanjay's mother, like definitely like the part like I'm looking like Sanjay's father might have after losing his job might have like basically better a lot and basically might have created a lot of steps and at that point like Sanjay's mother might have left him and to for like Sanjay to have like concern for like Sanjay having like a right future like she might have totally left her husband and might have depth platform as well, which is like especially in like this current sports begin stage. So definitely my very ambition. So and like at that point, like for, what Sanjay's mother might have done might have been also that like in order for like Sanjay to like never be able to like find his like father, she might have also changed like Sanjay's like true name. Sanjay's true name might be like totally different. So like she might have officially changed like Sanjay's true name and might have turned into Sanjay to definitely my very ambition. So and so like the name of the Americans and like Sangyong's like actual true name might have had like a lot of resemblance to like the old man's name of like Ilnan. It's the name of the American. So definitely, but still right now with like the old man's like final word before his death being like him revealing his like true name like that would be definitely the old man's confidence that like Sangyong would definitely be winning like the studio and would be like leaving like the studio building like the money and like would be making it outside like the studio building making it back to like the city. So like at that point, like the old man would want Sangyeon. Definitely since like the old man might have totally thought that like he might have only Sangyeon's mother might have possibly made like when she left her husband like she might have only possibly made her husband promise to her that basically he would never that Sangyeon he would never allow Sangyeon to like find out that like he's Sangyeon's father. So like he might have kept that promise, decided to like keep that promise all the way till his death. But like I'm whispering like so like with him right now, like while right before him dying, like him revealing his true name would be because of like him only feeling as like after his death, like he doesn't have to like keep his promise to his like wife would be along the line like the old man might have felt. So like that might be the reason for like him telling his like true name to like Sanjon and that coupled with like his like absolute confidence that would he would definitely having that if Sanjon would be like winning like this begin and getting all that reward money and like basically make would be able to like definitely make it back to like the city and that point like he was only hoping and he was definitely also confident that like once he gets back to the city like Sanjon only looking up the name of and and basically that way, Sangyeon at that point, like after his death, like and after Sangyeon would be like getting like this game and taking it back to the city. At that point, for like Sangyeon to like realize the truth that like the old man is like Sangyeon's father might be the reason for like the old man right now revealing his like name right before his like true name right before that is definitely my secondary impression. And I'm definitely burning, but still like even before that I'm also burning definitely Sangeon to like realize the truth. And I'm also most likely once like the Squid game would be revealed, like physically I was mentioned that will be at that point that I'm also like Sangeon most likely realizing the truth. And also like this Squid game to be like so extremely special and would be like a lot of revelations and those are going to happen to like Sangu as well as Sangyeon, specifically Sangyeon, way more than Sangye. And one of those revelations that like Sangyeon would be like realizing through like the nature of like the Squid game, whatever it is like, and those things would be one thing that Sangyeon at that point will be realizing that like the old man would be like the old man is was like Sangyeon's father. Definitely my was very embarrassing. So and definitely with like Sangyeon right now in tears, like walking away from like the old man as like the old man dies, like I'm like still like Sangyeon is right now walking away and in tears, like I'm still Sangyeon definitely won't be. I'm still thinking in my personal impression that like Sangyeon definitely won't be stepping outside of like the uh outside of like the post Squid game home. Before that, like I'm right before stepping out, like I'm like Sangyeon like wanting remembering something and straight away like Sangyeon and was telling the scenario to be like Sangyeon straight away heading back to where like the old man would have died and then like Sangyeon definitely like taking that number one shirt of like the old man and Sangyeon deciding to like wear that number one shirt. Sangyeon getting rid of like the possibility throwing away like the faucet period shirt and basically putting on like the number one shirt of like the old man. And from that point on, like towards like the very end, like Amazon like Sanjon will be playing like the game while wearing like the number one shirt. So like the scenario that Amazon again